Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. Welcome to day 1029. The House passed a short-term funding bill that will keep the government open after Democrats stepped in to rescue Speaker Mike Johnson and his spending plan, which many Republicans opposed. The bill would fund some government departments until mid-January and the rest through early February, but it doesn't include spending cuts or policy changes that the House Freedom Caucus had originally demanded. Democrats, meanwhile, are still dissatisfied that the measure doesn't include emergency aid for Israel and Ukraine, and it also threatens a two-step shutdown next year. The House is expected to vote on the bill tonight, but it still needs to pass through the Senate and be signed into law by Biden before midnight on Friday to avoid a shutdown. Moving on, a former Trump attorney told Georgia prosecutors that in December 2020, Trump's deputy chief of staff told her the boss didn't plan to leave the White House under any circumstances. This despite the fact that Trump had already lost the election and most of his subsequent challenges. In a leaked deposition video, Jenna Ellis said, "Dan Scavino said to me, in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave." Ellis provided the testimony as part of a plea deal with prosecutors, in which she pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting false statements and writings. Portions of recorded depositions with 3 other Trump co-defendants who have accepted plea deals in the case also leaked, those of Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesbrough, and Scott Hall. When prosecutors asked Powell why Trump ignored the White House attorneys and instead listened to her for legal advice, Powell said, "Because we were the only ones willing to support his effort to sustain the White House. I mean, everybody else was telling him to pack up and go." Meanwhile, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis asked for an emergency protective order after portions of videos from key witnesses in her election interference case against Trump leaked. In a court filing, Willis's office said the release of these confidential video recordings is clearly intended to intimidate witnesses in this case, subjecting them to harassment and threats prior to trial. The prosecution's filing included an apparent admission from an email chain with one of Trump's co-defendants. An attorney for Harrison Floyd, a Trump ally charged for his alleged role in the harassment of election worker Ruby Freeman, initially said it was Harrison Floyd's team who leaked the videos. In a subsequent email, Todd Harding, Floyd's attorney, called the prior email admission a typo. Willis, meanwhile, says she expects the trial to conclude by early 2025, with proceedings likely underway during the final stretch of the 2024 election. Moving on, Trump's allies are reportedly pre-screening up to 54,000 pro-Trump loyalists as a type of government in waiting if Trump wins the 2024 election. The headhunting operation aims to recruit 20,000 people to serve in the next administration and fill 4,000 presidential appointments as part of an effort to replace as many as 50,000 federal workers who are considered policy adjacent. The project is being orchestrated by the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. And finally, House Speaker Mike Johnson endorsed Trump's 2024 presidential bid, saying he's all in on the twice-impeached former president, who is facing 91 felony charges stemming from 4 indictments. Johnson, the second person in line to the presidency and the country's highest-ranking Republican, played a key role in Trump's efforts to overturn the last election and objected to certifying Biden's electoral win. In 2015, however, Johnson posted on Facebook that Trump lacks the character and moral center we desperately need again in the White House. In a subsequent comment, Johnson said, "I'm afraid Trump would break more things than he fixes. He's a hothead by nature, and that is a dangerous trait to have in a commander-in-chief." That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.